Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 391. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative message and show for you. Today, we're going to be talking to Mr. Milan Smith, the founder of Broken Chain Marketing, and we're going to be talking about website rebranding and building a successful website to help grow your business. Now, before we get to today's guest, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resources, including my link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. 2 platforms I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black economy: BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com, and also my new rebranded, rebooted Black Entrepreneur Blueprint Academy at BEB Academy. Now, let's get ready to talk about what we're going to discuss today, and we're going to talk about rebranding. One of the things is, guys, that I just did a rebrand with Black Entrepreneur Blueprint with the website. So make sure, guys, anything you want to find out about the platform, go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. So I did a tutorial that's on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. So if you want to check out all the new resources that we have, make sure you do so, because this website is amazing. And the gentleman that we're going to be interviewing today is the one that helped me create the website. And we're going to talk about that process and how that process can possibly help you out in building your successful and winning website. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my man, Milan Smith, and he should be logging in shortly. There we go. Can you hear me, my brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's it going?
I'm good. So now I just got some new software, so I don't know. Were you able to hear the intro or no?
No.
In the waiting room. All right. So I told him who you were, Milan Smith, founder of Broken Chain Marketing. But just to let the BEB family know, give us a little bit of your background, then we're going to jump into your entrepreneurial story.
Okay. So I'm a self-taught web designer, and then also a brand strategist. Been doing it for about maybe 3 years. I started in 2019. First got my handful of clients, man. I got my good handful of clients, and then I quit my job and went all in with the web design and brand strategy. But again, I've been doing that for about maybe 3 years now. So
Cool.
Yeah, it's been going good so far.
All right, man. Tell everybody where you're from, man. Where do you reside?
I'm in the DMV area. So
okay, cool,
yep,
cool.
Yep.
All right,
yeah. And, another thing is that I only work with Black-owned businesses. So
cool.
Really stick to that.
Most definitely. Now, the good thing is he's not a Redskins fan, so we're good with that.
No.
So what we want to do first, man, we want to jump into a little bit about your entrepreneurial story. And then I was telling the BEB family that you were the mastermind behind my new web design. So if y'all need any proof, social proof whatsoever, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. I'm super satisfied. Phenomenal job by my brother. So tell us a little bit about what made you decide to transition and leave your job and then go into this business. And as you mentioned, you're self-taught. So take us through that mindset or that process, man.
Yeah, man. So I'm not sure if you guys have any so out here in the DMV area we have a service that we provide to people that have disabilities, people who are, you know, very sick and need to get, you know, transportation back and forth to doctor's appointments and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
I was working. It's called Metro Access. I was working Metro Access for about I don't know, maybe 3 years, right?
Hmm.
And I just woke up one morning, man. It was just sucking my soul, bro. So I just woke up one morning and I was just like, you know what? I'm not going in today. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
going in. I'm not. I'm done. I'm done with this. So I really just quit. You know, went balls to the wall with the web design and
Hmm.
the brand strategy. And again, self taught. So the way I got started was I was just reaching out to black owned businesses that I wanted to work with, that I
Okay.
saw had some potential.
Hmm.
And what I would do is how I started getting my first couple clients is I would reach out to them. Um, and I would have already designed their website. So I would put like a pre mock up website together.
That's what's up.
It would have their images in there, all of that
Hmm.
stuff. And I would send it to them, right? And they
Right.
would be like, oh man, like yeah, like let's do
Right.
this. Like, you know, what I mean? So I started selling websites for about maybe 250. So if you didn't catch me back then, you was definitely getting a deal back
You in
then.
trouble now, trust
Yeah,
me.
you in trouble. But
Yeah.
that again, that was just to get people in the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so you know that's how I really got started, man. Self-taught again. You know, mainly just reading a lot of books, right?
Hmm.
Listening to a lot of experts in the area, or
Yeah.
in that industry, right?
Right.
Um, so you know, again, I just started, you know, no
Yeah.
degrees or nothing like that. And I think that, you know, people kind of fail to realize now the day and age that we're living in. I mean, this is the age of information, right? So
That's
like
it.
we can liberate ourselves in any type of way,
Yep.
um, and really start taking our destiny into our own hands in that way.
Thanks. Yeah. One thing I want to comment on. I want the light bulb to go off for the BEB family. The brother said something that I mean, when you talk about generating business, right? So what my man did was he went on sites, did a mock-up for him, sent it to him. So he already put some work in. And now when you got a raggedy site like I had, right? And you see and you see a mock-up of something like, yo, this looks good. I mean, you have to be crazy not to move forward. And, you know, maybe you don't have the money or something at that time, but that's a perfect way. He's showing you what he can do before you even paying him.
Yeah,
And
because
you
I
know what I mean?
noticed. Yeah, I noticed that. Because at first I was just reaching out to people and asking them, you know, do they need any web design work, and it just wasn't really. I wasn't landing anybody, right? Nobody
Right,
was, you know. So again, I just started, you know, designing some mock-ups and sending them out to
right.
people, and yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And so now, do you do any advertising now? Or is it all basically word of mouth?
A lot of my stuff is word of mouth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I get a lot of referrals from my past
Mhm.
clients, and then a lot of my clients that I've worked with in the past are still with me to this day, right? So,
Cool.
um, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
let me ask you, man, in terms of like financing your business, right? So I
Mhm.
don't know how much it took to get started and stuff like that, but how did you finance, or did you plan for it, or you
Oh
just
man,
heck?
this was free 99, bro.
Yeah.
It just took a little bit of elbow grease and, you know, some sweat equity, bro. It was
Yeah.
really, and that was another thing that made it so easy to jump into it because,
Right.
um, you know, all I had to do was sit down and take the time and learn this stuff, and
Right.
you know, after that I was smooth sailing, right? And again, like
Mhm.
this type of industries, the technology is always advancing in different ways, so you're learning on a consistent basis anyway. It's always
All the
something new
time.
popping up. Yeah.
Yeah, so now that's what's up. Cause and I'll tell the BEB family the way I connected with my brother was he was referred by one of our other friends, you know, mutual friends,
Mm,
Elijah Tyson the
mm,
trainer that had been on the show.
mm,
And I was looking at his site and I'm like, man.
mm.
So Milan
Yeah.
hit me up
And he
and
was
it
one of
took a
my
minute
first.
for us to get
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
but I was like, yo, I got to do it, man, because my back end was horrible, you know, in
Yeah.
terms of the site like that. So and yeah, this is a shameless plug. Make sure y'all check out the new site, all types of resources. We want
Fire.
that to be the number one resource for Black entrepreneurs out there. BlackEntrepreneurBlueprint.com. Everything, all the BEB ecosystem. We got partners on there. So And I'm gonna let my man give his contact information out. But if you go to the partners page, when you see Broken Chain Marketing, that's my man Milan Smith's business. So you know how we do here, y'all. Definitely support that. If you like what you see on the site, this is the man you need to talk to.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
I wanted to ask you, man. So you basically self-finance your business. Basically, you said little elbow grease. It didn't cost that much. You had touched on who your ideal customer is a minute ago,
Mhm.
but break that down for me. What's the thought process behind who your ideal customer is? And because we're in this day and age right now, do you think that's a benefit for you, or do you think that you're limiting your scope of prospective customers?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about niching down and choosing a target audience, a lot of people think that if you're not serving everybody that you can, you're losing out on customers, right? But
Mhm.
the fact of the matter is that once you start to niche down and speak directly to a specific target audience, your
Right,
message will stick a lot more. It will have a lot more weight to it, right?
right.
And people will connect with your message way better versus trying to be vanilla and serve
Right.
everybody, right?
Yeah.
So the thought process behind me choosing to work with black owned businesses only was the simple fact that I that's who I wanted to serve, right?
Right. Right.
I see a lot, a lot of in our community. I feel like a lot of us, we do because we don't have proper finance in some ways. A lot of
Mhm.
us can struggle with getting, our websites and stuff together because we just either don't have time or the finances to do so, right?
Right.
Um, so I think another thing that I was just really really gun ho on was that I wanted to serve solopreneurs, right?
Mhm.
So people that are literally like wearing all the hats in their business, and they just need somebody to come
Right.
on board and help them with their branding, marketing, things of that sort, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, kind of going back into your message or into your your mission, right? I
Mhm.
think we share similar missions, but I
Definitely.
think that the idea is to also build a ecosystem of black owned businesses that we can kind of create this network of black owned businesses to
Right.
actually you know um, really trade services and really help each other grow in certain ways, support one another, things of
Definitely.
that sort. So I think that the idea was also to help really put develop an economic structure, a solid
Mhm.
economical structure in the black community
Right.
through business and entrepreneurship. Because I know we are the number one consumers on the
Big time.
planet right now, right? So I
Mhm.
think to shift that, right? I think a lot of people are shifting over to entrepreneurship, and a lot of people need help with that. So
Yeah, it's funny. I was reading an article, man, yesterday. They were talking about like 400,000 people quit their job like
mm,
last month in the US.
wow,
Yeah,
wow,
the gig
wow.
economy, people doing their own thing. So, I mean, that's good for you because people going to need websites, they're going to need branding. And I wanted to talk to you about, because when we talk about websites, a lot of times we just think about the physical structure. But talk to me and the BEB family about the science behind the websites and some of the other services that you provide, in addition to just the build out and the structure. Like, what's your process when you go through this when you're talking to a new client?
Yeah, so usually, someone will reach out to me, and we'll kind of do like a 20-minute consultation. Usually those are free, right?
Right.
So I
Mhm.
do a 20-minute consultation. We'll kind of talk to see if we're a good fit.
Right.
And then if we are a good fit, we'll go into, and if I know nothing about their business, we'll go into our brand strategy session, which is usually about 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Right now, I'm currently charging $150 for that. Um,
Hmm.
but we'll go through that, and that whole process is really just to get as much information about your business, your values as a business,
Hmm.
your mission as a business, who you want to serve, your ideal target audience, um, and then also laying out some of the messaging that you would kind of develop around your branding and things of that sort. So that whole process is really just to get that stuff out the way, right? And really
Okay.
gain understanding and clarity on the business, right? For me and for the client, right? Because
Client. Right.
a lot of these, a lot of my clients, may not have a good idea of who they want to serve, or they may not have a good idea of how they're going to develop their messaging and things of that sort, right?
Hmm.
So again, that process to help is to help with that. And then when we get into the website, it's a lot more easier to structure everything, right?
Right.
So the website is really going to be based around the goals of the business, right?
Hmm.
So people, people, a lot of people use websites as, digital brochures or digital, business cards, right?
Right.
But the whole purpose of a website is to be used as the tool, right? Leverage as a
Mhm.
tool, almost as a digital employee, right? That's working
That's
for
it.
you 24/7, 365. So,
Wow.
and it's supposed to actually help move your business forward, right? So taking a lot of the, for instance, like frequently asked questions, like a lot of people have that on their website. That's
Website.
to
Yeah.
kind of narrow down a lot of the, people getting a lot of calls or things of that sort, right? It's
Hmm.
again, it's just supposed to help you, um, with that process. So, what I do is, again, I structure the website in a way that meets and speaks to the client's goals, and what they're looking to really push, right?
Right.
Um, so that's
Okay.
pretty much how that works.
Yeah, and that as we went through the process, it's funny. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we know what our vision is,
Mhm.
but mapping it out sometimes for the website to flow
Mhm.
naturally. And
Yeah,
so we went back and forth. I mean, how many months were we working on this thing,
yeah,
bro?
yeah,
About
man.
five, four,
Yeah, it was
five
about
months.
5 months. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
and
mean, sometimes it can take that long because I mean, when you got not only the website, but then you also have the branding that we need to do as well. So
right,
me and you kind of did both. We did a rebrand, a complete rebrand. So
brand
sometimes that can
exactly.
take a little longer for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny. So I got a lot of content, like we talked about over the years. And so it's being able to structure and flow. So when people come to the site now, they can flow through and the resources that they need, they can go directly to that location as
Yeah,
opposed to jumping on the website, looking at stuff or a pop-up comes up and now you don't even want this stuff. I
yeah,
want something about e-commerce or marketing. Hey, here's a tab, or I'm answering these questions, and it's taking you directly to the site. So one of the things that we instituted in the website was basically an add-on called Write Message.
mhm,
And so when you go to the website, if you're on the laptop or desktop, it'll be on the bottom right corner of the site. If you're on your phone, it'll pop up on the bottom of your phone right here. But once you go on the site, it'll ask you a couple questions. Or do you own a business? Yes or no? Answer that question. What do you need help with? Marketing, e-commerce, all the different buckets, content buckets that we have on the site. You click that, then it'll take you to that specific information or those resources. So that's one of the things we talked about where we want to make it a customized flow for each person. And we had to walk through that whole thing. And that's another reason it took a long time. But
yeah,
but
yeah,
but
yeah.
it was well worth it, man, because
No,
it
for
flowed
sure. We
perfect.
got a lot of good resources on the site.
Hmm.
And it's the content is a lot more easy to find for sure. Right.
Right. And
Um,
that's really what you want. You want
yeah.
people to be able to get to what they need to get to. Now, do you work? I know my site is in WordPress. Is
Mhm.
that what you recommend for most
Yeah,
people?
I usually recommend WordPress. I'm starting to for a lot of e-commerce businesses, and for those who don't have the budget to build out somewhat of a custom website,
Hmm.
I'm starting to look into the Shopify, right? Because I know that
Right.
that's a easy way to for somebody to get started, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm currently doing now, and this is a part of my business model as well. Um, I've been reaching out to other web designers and designers in general to help me
Mhm.
with designing and with on these projects, right?
Right.
So my goal is to actually work with other Black designers, web designers, people who do logos, right? And me personally, I have a certain quality for all of my clients, right? For the work that we do. So,
Right.
of course, it has to meet, the quality of what, I'm looking for, and then also the client is looking for. And most of the time, I know what the client's looking for because we've had that long discussion, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like so, that's another piece of my business model. Eventually, I want to scale and have a slew of Black freelancers that are working with me on projects and things of that sort. So that's
Mhm.
a piece of my business model.
Nah, that makes sense because that's going to allow you to leverage all of the other designers and people that are working with you, help people, give jobs to other people that
Yeah,
may
for
not.
sure.
You may be a great designer, but you don't know how to get work.
Yeah, and I
So,
and I think that's a huge problem for a lot of freelancers, right?
hmm
Um, so but when you take it and you look at your what you're doing if you are a freelancer, when you look at what you're doing, you don't look at it as being a freelancer, but you look at it as running a business.
right,
That's a different mind shift, where you can kind of start to learn the things of how to actually generate business for your, for your business, right? So,
makes
I
sense.
think that's a huge mind shift that I had to go through for sure.
Nah, that makes a lot of sense. And one of the things, guys, so the light bulb needs to go off again. So what Milan is talking about is scaling,
Yeah,
scaling his business. And the first thing you got to scale is you,
yeah,
right? Because you can't do everything. So you need to be able to put yourself in a place where eventually you can start working on your business as opposed to in your business, but managing. So really being a project manager,
yeah,
you have the vision, you're directing everybody. It's just like a home builder. You
exactly.
get a home built by Toll Brothers, whoever, all of those workers don't work for Toll Brothers.
Yeah,
They have a Toll Brothers project manager that goes in and they may have a local plumbing crew, a local, roofing crew. But
uh-huh.
all they're doing is they're managing the project. And one thing you said that's important, you're making sure it's at a level, a standard that,
Yeah, yeah. And,
that you need to keep it above.
yeah, because I think and this is kind of maybe like a thing, just a thing for me, right? But I think that when people come to certain black-owned businesses, they don't expect certain quality, right? So to kind of give them and over deliver for my clients is like a must, right?
Yeah,
Because I want them to know that even black owned businesses can deliver good work too, right? You don't have to
most
go to
definitely.
these. I mean, and then also working with somebody that aligns with your values and actually wants the best for you, because it actually adds to my mission as well, right? So
Exactly.
when you do good, we do good, and then we all collectively do good, right? So
Exactly.
that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm gonna tell you something. One thing is too that we need to understand value, right? Um, so when you go and buy something, like you go out and you buy a new watch or whatever, you buy a $10 watch, you don't expect much from that watch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If it lasts 3 months, you happy,
You
right?
won, right? You winning.
But you buy a Rolex or Movado, something like that, you're expecting a certain level of quality. And I
Hmm.
think that's what we need to understand, and that's what you were basically saying, that yeah, we can provide quality products, we can
Right.
provide quality services, and I think what we have to start doing as black folk is the same way you're measuring how our quality is. Go ahead and measure what the other ethnicities quality is
Hmm.
too when you do business with them.
For
So
sure.
when they open their store 5 minutes late, when you go down and get your chicken wings at the Asian joint on the
Right.
corner,
At the carry out, right?
yeah, yeah, I want you to complain as much as when you go to the rib joint and he opened 5 minutes late.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
you need that same type of energy
Yeah,
for everything. Just don't super or hyper focus on,
yeah, and I think
the
it's
narrative of, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's really been again, like you just said, a narrative that's been painted in our heads, right?
Yep,
Since we can remember, you know what I mean? So,
that's it.
but yeah, that's a thing that I really pride myself on, is really trying to over deliver for my clients.
Yeah, yeah, and I can attest to that. Like I said, go to the website blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and we still tweaking and stuff, and we'll be
Hmm.
tweaking as we go along. But this initial iteration is fire, man. So
Yeah,
everybody
for
that
sure.
that went to the site, I was telling my peoples, check it out. Let me know what you think. They was like, yo, what? I ain't gonna lie, man. It couldn't have got no worse than my other site.
I was about to say, bro, we could have just put up
I know.
anything and been better. Nah, I'm messing
Yeah.
with you, bro.
I just put it.
But
No, you're right.
yeah,
Cause all I
yeah,
did, and it's so crazy because I talked about this on the last episode. When I started the podcast, all I did was throw up a little WordPress site, and I'm like, all right, I
yeah.
didn't know what it was going to turn into. You know
Right,
what I
right,
mean?
yeah, because it's
Yeah,
again, it was just more of a hobby at that point.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then it grew, and I kept saying, I know I got to do it. I got to do it. And then finally, I had this PR person came up to me, and I was like, I'm thinking about, get hiring a PR person so I can get more interviews and stuff. She said, well, the first thing is your back end got to match the front end. And
Yeah.
she said, your back end is basically raggedy. I was like, damn, but that's real talk. And I was like,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right, let me get my weight up. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
yeah.
get my weight up.
We definitely did that. Definitely
Yeah.
did that.
Oh, big time,
Yeah.
man. Oh, BEB family, before I forget too. Milan is going to be on. This is going to drop on Monday. What is that? The 10th, I believe. So he's going to be on Tuesday on Ask Jay Live, Tuesday, January 11th, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you have any particular questions, for my brother about his services, some of his tips and techniques and strategies to help grow your business by, obviously redoing your website or building your initial website, join us live, Ask Jay Live, Tuesday, tomorrow, January 11th, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So this is an
100%.
opportunity for the BEB family to jump on with my man live, ask him questions. He's a hard man to catch up to. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
This guy's over here doing all kind of stuff. I think you working on Obama's new website, aren't
Man,
you?
yeah, man. We almost done with that too. I had to tax him though. He
Yeah,
didn't get that. He didn't get that 250. He didn't get that 250 yet.
exactly. But nah, the
But
brother's doing tremendous work, and
yeah,
it's
another.
funny because when you do great work and people see that all that's going to do is like, yo, we're getting more business.
That I mean, and that's how I've been afloat so far, right?
Hmm.
It's the constant referrals that I get from the work that I've done.
Yeah.
Um, but I think another thing would just what you just made me think about was the idea of um, people thinking that when you build the website, they will
Hmm.
come, right? Build it and they will come, right?
Yeah.
So, but the way that the website works is that you build it, right? We'll build you a nice, pretty website, right? But we
Hmm.
still have to figure out ways to drive traffic to that website, right? So,
Definitely.
and that's another thing that I've started to see with my clients early on, right?
Hmm.
So now I do have ways of helping them drive traffic and generate, some different type of leads to their website.
Right.
Because again, like it's no point of having a website if nobody knows about it, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, and there's different ways you can do that, right? You can do it through email, through an email list, you can do it through, social media, of course. Um,
Right.
but just finding ways to drive traffic to your website. Don't go out and get your website done and then think that you automatically going to start making sales. Like I mean,
Right.
people, you're gonna have 1,000 people on your website every day. That's not how it works.
Nah, that ain't gonna happen,
Yeah.
man. I wanted to ask you, bro, advice, right?
Mhm.
So for any entrepreneurs out there right now, new or currently as an entrepreneur, what's give me three pieces of advice that you would give entrepreneurs right now looking to grow or build their business right now?
Um, Brand is everything. Your
Mm,
brand is everything, right? And brand is nothing but a reputation, right? Brand is not your logo.
right.
Brand is not your colors. Brand is not the font you use. Brand is your reputation in the marketplace, right?
Place. Yep.
So your brand is everything, right? And I think
Mm,
now more than ever, I think people are starting to realize that um,
mhm.
because you can't just put something up and think that people are going to buy it just because it looks nice, even if it does look nice, right?
Right.
If nobody
Mm,
knows or nobody really trusts your brand,
right.
um, they don't know who you are, then
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 they're not gonna purchase it, right? Um, so that's one thing that I've learned, right? Brand is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is when you do have successes, right? Um, Try not to get too high up on your high horse, right? Like keep doing those things that got you there, and then also do the things that need to get you to that next level, right?
Right.
Don't get comfortable. Don't get content. Keep striving and keep building. Um, I mean, and if that's what you want, right? Some people
Right.
kind of they get to a certain level and they comfortable, and that's perfectly fine. But I think the way that the world is moving, right? It's moving so fast, you can easily get left behind if you choose to not, if you choose to
Right.
sit still. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely.
Um, and then another thing, I guess that um, and this is a thing that I've been working with, but know our we have to know the numbers behind our
Mm,
business.
yeah.
Numbers, right? So like your finances, where your money's going, how
Hmm.
much money you got coming in, right? What's going out, your
Yeah,
margins, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
so those things I think are really important.
Important.
You know, I was watching Shark Tank the other day, right? And
Hmm.
the guy who developed Famous Amos cookie, right?
Yeah, Wiley
Um,
Avis. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he came back on. He came on to Shark Tank and was, he had a different cookie, right? And I'm like, well, what happened to Famous Amos? And everybody's asking what
Bad
happened to Famous
story.
Amos. Yeah, it's a bad story, right? Because the guy didn't know the business side of what he was doing, right? I mean,
Hmm.
he gave up so much equity that he eventually got bought out of his own company, and that's his
Yep.
name, right?
Exactly.
So I think knowing the business and the numbers is very, very important for us, so we don't get taken advantage of in certain
Yeah,
ways, for sure.
yeah, that's good advice. Quick, a quick side story about Famous Amos. So y'all know, I don't even know if I mentioned this on the podcast. I've owned like 17 businesses before. One of the businesses that one of my buddies owned was like a not a side business because we built a pretty decent amount.
Mm.
We used to have the distribution rights to Famous Amos cookies in Center City, Philadelphia. So like the
Wow.
North, Germantown, like North and West Philadelphia. So we had a
Mm.
fleet of trucks, we had
Mm.
drivers, and so we had people delivering the store. So Famous Amos, well, we used to be on a route for Famous
Mm.
Amos, man.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
and it's funny because that's when I learned about the story. You know, that
Yeah,
was
I
way
didn't.
back then.
Yeah, I did
It's
not
crazy.
know. I didn't. I never. I didn't know it until I saw it on Shark Tank, and I was like, wow.
And he came up. I forgot the name of his other cookies. I don't think they did that well.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot the name of them too, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't. I'm not sure. I mean, he definitely didn't get a deal on Shark Tank for that.
right.
You know what I mean? But
Damn, he still didn't
yeah,
get no deal, man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
They
shame.
they were just saying that he didn't understand the business, and that again,
Right.
knowing the numbers, right? And again, this is something that I'm working on myself as well, right?
Yeah,
But knowing the numbers in your business is very important for
definitely,
sure.
man. We just talked about Wally Amos and the major setback he had. Man, tell us about a setback or a failure that you had in this business or any other business, and what did you learn and how did you overcome it?
Mm.
Entrepreneurs need to understand this because it ain't if it's going to happen,
Is
it's
when,
when it's going to happen,
yeah,
right?
then how you choose to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I had another business that me and my cousin were running, and this was a idea for a product that my cousin came to me with, right? So we were on this journey to find some product to sell on Amazon, right?
Hmm.
Because Amazon has, I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but Amazon has FBA, Amazon FBA, and that's just fulfillment by Amazon. So what you can do is you can ship your products to Amazon, its warehouse, and they'll ship and pick and pack all your different products and ship them out for you
Hmm.
for a small fee, right? I think you pay
Right.
like $40 a month, and then you pay a certain amount per cubic foot or something like that, right?
Right.
For the space that you take up in the warehouse. But so he came to me with this idea. We finally landed on a product, and the product was a charger for Fitbits, right? I'm not
Hmm.
sure if you guys know what the Fitbits are, but
Yeah.
is a fitness tracker, right? So the problem
Hmm.
that he was having is that the cord was so small,
Yeah.
and when he would plug it up, his Fitbit would be dangling in midair, right? He wanted something that was a little bit longer. He's like, I don't know why they didn't make it longer. And
Right.
then another thing that we did was we paired it with a USB um,
Port.
wall adapter, yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So so we started selling those. That was probably in um, 2016. We
Hmm.
started in July 2016 selling those. Um, the crazy thing is when we first put our product up, I think the day after or something like that was like Amazon Prime Day.
Oh
So
wow.
like we was getting like sales, like we got our first like 10 sales that day. And
That's
we was
what's
like,
up.
oh, this shit is easy, man.
Right.
This shit, this shit is too sweet, right?
Right.
Right. So so
Oh
but
man.
then we come to realize that it's Amazon Prime Day. So it's like, all right, we'll go, okay, so we don't really count
Right.
the sales count for sure, but we'll take it. But so towards the holiday season, and we were the first to market with this product, right?
Wow.
Um, so there were no other products on there that had longer adapters and paired it with the wall adapter, right?
Hmm.
So we towards the end of that year, I mean maybe like in December, yeah, we made about $60,000 in revenue, right?
That's what's up.
Um, and then that following year, which was 2017, um,
Hmm.
or maybe my years are mixed up. So 2015 and then 20 going into 2016, that first quarter, we made about over $100,000 in that first quarter, right?
That's what's up. Yeah.
Um, so the thing about the thing what stuff started to happen is like everything was so sweet, right? And then kind of
Hmm.
going back to the advice I was giving earlier, we kind
Hmm.
of got on this high horse, right? So we was learning from this guy who was running a podcast. He was just telling you all the steps about how to get your stuff on Amazon and what to
Hmm.
do, how to reach out to manufacturers and things of that sort, right? So we learned a lot from that guy.
Right.
But eventually we like, man, shit, we probably making more money than this
Yeah.
dude, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to listen to him no more. We good, right?
We good. Right.
So, you know, um, and a combination of other things started to happen, right? So you got other people coming onto the market, doing the same thing, right?
Yep.
Um,
Copycat.
yeah, copycats, so we got a lot of people, a lot of Chinese manufacturers actually, right, coming in and undercutting us on the price,
Oh,
right?
they'll do that all day.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then the 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 most wild thing happened was that we got a cease and desist letter from Apple,
Wow.
right? Because our wall adapters look just like theirs, right?
Wow.
But they were black. They weren't they
Okay.
weren't white, they were
Right.
black.
Hmm.
So and I'm like, yo, like, are you serious? Like,
Right.
so the listing that we had on Amazon got canceled. So they froze our listing. So we weren't able to make any more money with that product for a good little while.
Yeah.
That put a dip in our revenue. Um,
Hmm.
and then we kind of was beating a dead horse, man. Like we started coming out with like 2 packs and 3 packs of the
That's
same
right.
part. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
instead of taking that money and actually investing it in something else, right?
Right.
Looking at it as a quick come up versus an actual business, right?
Exactly.
Because there's no way that we could have actually, now thinking about it, there's no way we could have really built a business model around that, really.
Right.
That was sustainable, right? Without kind of getting into that price war that we
Exactly.
got into with those Chinese manufacturers. But yeah, man, like after a while, sales really started to decline, man.
Yeah.
I actually jumped out there and got my own spot at that time.
Hmm.
And I ain't really had no, like, money started slowing up. So it's like,
Yeah, bro.
so it's really like decisions that you got to make at that point, right?
So,
But
how many
yeah,
of them
like,
charges you got in the basement, man?
man, I got
Yeah.
endless. Anybody needs some wall adapters, come on, and they are black. but,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like that, the lessons that I learned from that, again, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, is that story right there, or that experience made me realize how brand is everything, right?
That's it.
Because we didn't really have a brand. Like, granted, I've learned great customer service skills from working at Nordstrom's, right?
Hmm.
So our customer service was A1, right? So
Right.
anytime somebody had an issue with a charger, we would just send out another free charger, free of charge.
Yep.
Um, so like, but again, we didn't have a brand, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
it was nothing there that people could really like um set their head on and be like, okay, this is why I like this company, or this is why I choose this company over the next one,
They
right?
ain't even know your name, right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
probably did, right? Like they just was
Yeah.
like, man, I need a charger, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, and again, an accessories business like that, you talking about chargers, right? I mean, you really gotta, I
Yeah.
think that's kind of like, bottom feeders type of
Right.
atmosphere, right? Where you really gotta set the tone for, you know, your your brand and your product, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't think nobody really looks at a charger and says, "Oh, I
Right.
love these chargers," right?
Right.
They
Versus.
might versus another charger, right? It's like, "Oh,
Right.
I need a charger. I'm gonna go on Amazon and buy the cheapest one or the one that I think is worth
Right.
something," right?
Yeah.
So it was really hard. So branding again is everything, right?
W-
And then
mhm.
realizing when you got that money coming in, realizing how to pivot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just knowing how to pivot. So we
That's
tried
what's
to
up.
pivot, but it was too late.
It's
Right?
too
So
late.
we start selling watch bands and
Trying
for the
everything.
everything, man. We throwing spaghetti at the
Yeah.
wall, bro.
So you hit on something, man. Couple of good points you just hit on. First thing is your perception of what you were doing when you were going in. And
Mm,
I tell you, if I showed you my phone here, I got an episode titled "Throwaway Amazon Brands."
mm,
And they're brands where you go in or products that you make quick money, and after a while, you know it's going to go like this.
yeah,
The issue that you had, and it happened to me before, is that instead of taking that money and parlaying it into something, you think this thing is still
it's
going to
gonna
keep
last
rolling.
forever. We
Right.
thinking it's gonna
So,
last. I mean, we projecting to hit $1 million at the end of 2016. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So it was
Yeah.
really like we had high hopes for that for sure.
Yeah, man. The same thing happened to me. And what people need to understand with brands, right? Every brand is going to do this.
Hmm.
Is eventually going to do this. The
Hmm.
reason Apple keeps coming out with iPhone 13 Pro, the iPhone 13 Max, they
Hmm.
trying to keep it fresh for you, so you
Hmm.
got to keep buying it, right? You don't
Hmm.
have to, but that's what
Right.
they're doing. So if you can't continue to iterate or reiterate whatever your model is or your stuff, your thing is going to go like this,
Yeah.
the old bell curve. That's
Yeah.
just a natural thing. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I realized too. And you hit on it too with branding. That's why I created Brand Builder Academy Elite. Instead of just selling one-off products, which you can, make money, but understand that them one-off products
Ain't
probably
gonna
aren't going to
last.
last long.
Yeah.
Right. You can make your money and then parlay that. But if you build a brand, you can have or create longevity.
Yeah.
And that's really what you want to do. And obviously your website and your branding, how you create or your brand is perceived is
Mm,
paramount, and that's where you come in, man.
for
But
sure.
super hard life lessons, man, from an
Yeah,
entrepreneur.
man, for sure, for sure. I mean, that's like a $200,000 lesson that I had to learn, right? It's like, man, like you see all that money and then it's gone. You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
gone. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and
So
you already counting it. It's like,
yeah, we
all
counting
right,
and
this month,
projecting. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
All right, we did this.
yeah,
Next month we gonna do this, and you already
yeah,
got that thing. But yeah,
yeah.
if you don't, if you create a throwaway brand, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give this to y'all. So I got my Hell Yeah hot sauce, right? So I'm
Mhm.
not selling that on Amazon. That's
I'm still
strictly
waiting
on.
for my bottle.
Oh, you ain't get it yet, man.
Nah,
Oh
nah,
man, yo, you ain't send me your address, but
nah.
I
Nah,
got a nice pack for you,
for
whole
sure.
whole
Appreciate
gift pack.
it. Yeah,
So one of the things was I'm not selling it on Amazon because, like I said, you get some, competitive bad reviews or whatever.
yeah,
Product is bomb, but people don't understand how those reviews can affect a small business.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And so I have a couple of throwaway brands. I'm not using my premium sauces in these, but I'm gonna create two throwaway brands that if they don't sell anymore on Amazon, that's fine. But they're
Right.
not going to be under the Hell Yeah brand. They'll be under two other brands. So I call them throwaway brands.
Yeah.
If they stick, great. If not,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I mean,
care.
I think too. Also, right? I think Amazon is a platform. Anything like Amazon or Etsy or any of those platforms where they kind of like you can really get a lot of like free traffic. Honestly, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because people are already on there with their credit
Shopping.
cards ready,
Yep.
shopping, right? So
Mhm.
it's a good platform to be on, right?
Right.
But I think it's only after you build your brand you use
Yeah.
that to enhance your brand. So now you got money coming in from not only your own personal website and your own
Yep.
brand, but you got money coming in from the Amazon as well, right? Or
Definitely.
Etsy or whatever the case may be. Just leverage those platforms for what they are. They're not actually meant to build your brand like that, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
you also you can't just go on there and just have that that standalone listing and think you have a brand. Like you don't.
Nah.
Like if you don't have your own website, you don't have a social media, follow like all of these different things, right?
Yep.
Then you really don't have a brand. You
You
have
don't
a
have
product.
nothing.
Yeah, you have a product. So
Yeah. What you're right. And it's funny because when I started selling my flat irons, my first flat iron brand, and Amazon shut me down for a week
mm,
because somebody said the listing didn't match the product they got, which I don't understand because it was all F.
mm,
So
mm,
I'm shipping to Amazon, and then they're shipping out to the customers. So
yeah,
I have nothing to do with the shipping. And
right,
so they literally shut I had a website, but I wasn't really driving traffic. I was
right,
advertising on Amazon. So
right,
they shut my listing down. It was in November and I was rolling. So
mm,
they said, we're going to have to check. And Amazon don't, a lot of this stuff is automated. So if they
right.
have an issue or something, they'll suppress your listing and
Mhm.
then you got to
Reach out to
follow up
them.
with them what's
Mm,
going on. So
mm,
what happened was they had to go in all the warehouses where my product was, look in each of the boxes to make sure the boxes matched up with the listing. And it took them about 7 days.
wow.
And at that time, I was grossing probably about $2,000 a day,
Yeah. Wow.
1,500, $2,000. So I lost
Wow.
14, anywhere
Yeah.
from 8 to 14 grand while they went and looked at
Yeah, that's
something. And
crazy.
I'm telling you, I had no recourse to it. I couldn't say nothing. I just had to sit there and wait.
Yeah, come in because you in their playground, right?
I'm
Like
in their
this is this
playground.
is
Yep.
this is their platform. They set the rules, and I mean that's another thing that
Right.
we gotta understand with platforms like that. I mean even with Instagram, right? Like a lot of
Exactly.
people, I see a lot of people selling and doing their business straight through Instagram, but
Hmm.
Instagram, you can get some people, you got haters out there, right? So some people can kind of just start tagging your stuff as spam or whatever,
Exactly.
and Instagram can shut down your listing for whatever reason, right?
Bruh.
And then you lose all your followers, right? So, and then that's your business, right? So it's like, you know,
You ain't,
um,
yeah.
having your own platform is very important, right?
Boy,
Because you control that, right? You can control the experience, you can control everything, right?
man. I
Um,
had a coaching client, man. I told this on the podcast before that they had like 10, 15,000 IG followers. They were selling, in a specific vertical.
mm,
One of their competitors had all his followers, go in and complain about this account,
wow,
shut the account down multiple times, about 4 or 5 times. And
wow,
finally they were just like, you know what? I'm done. And I
wow,
kept telling them, I'm like, you gotta build your own platform.
yeah,
Cause once again, that's sabotage, man.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
they weren't doing nothing wrong, but that competitor, they were like, they taking money out of my pocket.
right,
And
yeah.
so, and you
People
can,
vicious, man.
yeah, and it was so bad because I'm like, that was the livelihood. It was that
Yeah,
that person's livelihood, and
yeah,
they were distraught.
yeah.
And so I'm like, so you got to protect yourself. So even on Amazon, people, they espionage people over there,
Yeah,
sabotaging other
for sure.
brands.
Yeah. I mean, I
You
know
know,
what we did to get started. I mean, I'm not sure if they still allow you to do this, but one thing that we did do with Amazon is some hacks that you can do with Amazon, but you can
hmm,
send out free product to some reviewers, some people that will review your product,
for free.
and
Yep.
then have them in exchange for a free product, right? So,
Right.
you might get,
They shut that down, bro.
yeah, exactly. So
They
now,
shut
yeah,
it
that
down.
that was way back then. So,
Yeah.
um,
Wild Wild
but
West.
the Wild Wild West, we was
Yep.
definitely in the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, bro.
So yeah, I mean, but again, I think leveraging Amazon for what it is, looking at it for what it is, most of the time, you really can't control what's going on those platforms. So,
Definitely.
you really got to play, march to their drum, the beat of their drum. So
Exactly.
it's better to just have, along with having that, it's better to have also your own platform
Wrong
as
thing.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Man,
don't depend on that. Don't depend on
exactly. Right. You can't
so
depend on that.
yeah, you should be off Amazon building your audience, trying to, add
Do your
value to your audience as much as possible through Instagram, through your site,
mhm,
driving traffic to your site. And Amazon
all
is
that.
just a plus at that point.
Yeah, straight gravy. That's
Yeah,
that's what y'all got to think of that.
yeah.
a couple more questions. I'm not gonna hold you too long, man. Wanted to ask you, is there anything that I omitted to ask you that you wanted to get out to the BEB family?
Mm. No, man, I think we hit on a lot of good stuff, bro. I think we
Okay.
hit on a lot of good stuff.
All right. And before we give all your social, your contact information and how people can connect with you, question I always ask, man, if you could have a conversation with one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Mm. I was a huge Nipsey Hussle fan.
Okay. And why
Um,
and why would you want to talk to Nip, neighborhood
um,
Nip?
yeah, so I think that, he's a brilliant guy, right? Um,
Yeah.
I know he had a team, but I think he was, a marketing genius. He he did a lot of good stuff in the community, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, just kind of picking his brain about, um, you know, how he got to where he was at and things of that sort, right? And just
Hmm.
really, trying to understand, big like cryptocurrencies too, right? Because this
All of
guy,
that.
when you think about this, man, I'm not sure if y'all have heard of NFTs,
Oh
right?
man. Yeah.
So this guy was way ahead of the NFT crowd when
Hmm.
he was building his store, right? His digital store, right? Where
Yeah.
he's streaming content off of his clothes, right?
Right. Yep.
Um, so again, the guy was just a genius, man, in so many different
Hmm.
ways. I think gone too soon for sure. But
Yep.
yeah, that would definitely be one of the guys I want to chop it up with.
That's
Um,
what's up. All right,
mm,
man. How can the BEB family connect with you in addition to going to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, hit the partners, and you'll see Broken Chain Marketing right up top is one of our preferred partners. But how can people connect with you, bro?
you can go to brokenchainmarketing.com. Just how it's spelled, right? Brokenchainmarketing.com. You can also go to Broken Chain Marketing on all the platforms, LinkedIn, um, the Instagram, and Facebook, things of that sort.
All right, cool. Also, guys, don't forget tomorrow, Tuesday, January 11th, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Milan Smith, Broken Chain Marketing, is going to be on with me live. You can ask him questions live about your website. He may even be able to jump on your site while we're on the phone and
And,
see.
and do some voodoo, do some magic,
Right.
right? a little magic.
Give you some feedback on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
make sure you go to askjlive.com. Once again, go to the website and you can subscribe, Ask J Live right there. But this is a great opportunity for you to get in touch with the brother, ask him questions about branding, website building, and anything that you need to about entrepreneurship. My brother, I appreciate you, man, for
Yes,
being
sir.
on the platform.
Likewise.
Thank you so much, man, for walking me through that process, man,
Yes, yes,
because
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
because
Yeah,
I ain't
man.
gonna lie. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I had two other people before this, and I literally wasted my money. I ain't even the sites never even dropped.
Mm,
I was like, yo, this is crazy.
yeah,
And when we talked and I gave you my vision, he's like, yo, I got you.
we start hitting
And
the
when you
pavement.
came back, bro, you came back with some stuff. I'm like, yo, this
Yeah,
this is it.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
I'm validating my brother right here. He's doing this
yeah,
thing, man, and I
yeah.
appreciate you, man. Thank you so
Appreciate
much
you,
for
bro.
that.
Appreciate you for everything you're
Yeah,
doing, bro. This community, everything, bro.
my
Appreciate
man.
you.
Don't forget, y'all, tomorrow, 12 noon, talk to my man live on air on Ask J Live. Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, brother.
All right, man.
Peace,
Take it
man.
easy.
My man. That was a great interview with my man, Milan Smith, founder of Broken Chain Marketing. Make sure you go to brokenchainmarketing.com or you can go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com and look on the partners tab, and he'll be right in the top, one of the preferred partners of Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Now, before we get to the takeaways, I just want to share my social media contact information and my resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Now, if you're interested in building a successful, sustainable e-commerce business, you can go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy, $14.95 for the print version, $9.95 for the digital version. Now, once again, everything I'm saying, guys, you can go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. you can hit the resources tab and find everything I'm talking about and about to talk about. All right. Also, I mentioned at the top of the show, 2 platforms I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community. The first one is besmartbyblack.com. So if you're a Black product producer and you want to sell your products to Black consumers, upload your product information. It is free to besmartbyblack.com. Now, I didn't forget about you freelancers. So if you do anything on Fiverr.com or freelancer.com, upload your information to hireblackfreelancers.com, HIRE, blackfreelancers.com. Once again, it is also free, and connect with Black businesses and Black consumers that want to hire Black freelancers. Now, I also mentioned, guys, my new rebranded, rebooted BEB Academy is available. You get 3 days free access to everything in the academy. It doesn't matter if you're an expecting entrepreneur or a current entrepreneur. We have all types of different tracks and verticals to help you launch, build, and grow successful businesses. So if you need to know how to start a business, form an LLC or a corporation, marketing, e-commerce, finance, we have it all there. Get 3 days free access at bebacademy.com. And finally, if you want to build an e-commerce business, make sure you check out Brand Builder Academy Elite, bbaelite.com. Now, once again, go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com and hit courses, and you can see more information there. But Milan talked about it. It's really about building brands. So it doesn't matter if it's a physical products brand or a digital products brand. Brand Builder Academy Elite is the #1 premier online course to teach you how to build a brand. It's a 15-week implementation program taking you from ideation to product creation, all the way to selling on your site and other applicable sites. So make sure you go to bbaelite.com, or it's easier just to go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Now, if you want to connect with me, once again, anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Now, if you want to connect with me on Facebook, just go to Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, jjones001. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL, and also Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, family. We have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. And yes, the show does come out on YouTube every week. Clubhouse, hit me at I am Jay Jones. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, go to Jay Jones, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, connect with me at LinkedIn. Also, my Ask Jay Live show is exclusively on the call-in app. So go to askjlive.com and subscribe. Once again, go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, and everything I just said is there. Now, let's go to a couple quick takeaways from my interview with the founder of Broken Chain Marketing, Mr. Milan Smith. One of the things that I really liked about the interview was he talked about how he got his first clients. So he said initially he was emailing, calling people for websites, and they weren't responding. So he had to figure out a way to make people respond. Now, it took a little bit of work, but in the long run, you see what benefit it played. So what he did was he went to somebody's site, somebody that he targeted, and he looked at their website and he created a mock website for them. And then he reached out to them, showed them a link to the website, and then they were like, man, this is amazing. And that's how he started getting his clients. So he put in the work and did some legwork and research on the prospect before they transitioned into clients. So that was something that I hope the light bulb went off for you. Also, he talked about everything is about branding. And that's true. He told the story about his one-off product, the Fitbit charger that did well for a while. But if you really think about it, do you really, when you buy something of that quality, do you really care about the brand? Unless it's an Apple brand or an Android brand or something of that nature. But when you're buying like cell phone accessories, most times you can't even tell me the case that you bought or who the manufacturer is. So there are a few big players in that space, but really you have to understand it's about building a brand. And once again, a brand is what people interpret you as. So when you buy Nike, you're expecting a certain level of quality. And so that's what all about building a brand is about. You have to be able to build a brand and not sell a one-off product. If you do decide to sell a one-off product, recognize and understand what it is. it's a cash grab, because nothing is going to stay popular forever. You have to have more iterations. I was listening to a video of a guy on a podcast today, and he was talking about, you need to create iterations or different levels to your product. So for example, we're at the iPhone, 13 now? I don't know if it's at 14 or whatever, but they continue to create iterations that make you continue to go back and buy more product. So if you just have one iteration of a product, then that life cycle of the product is going to be shorter than somebody that has multiple iterations of the product. So once again, guys, that was something that really came out in terms of what Milan was speaking about. And I'm a perfect example. He did a fantastic job on the website. Once again, that's iteration number 1, and we're going to continue to improve it and add more resources to it. And so we're working behind the scenes right now, and hopefully within the next month or two, it'll probably be where we really want it to be, but we're always going to continue to tweak it and make it better. Now, before I sign out, guys, I say this each and every week. We continue to get more and more downloads, and that's because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the website, the new refurbished and improved website, the blog, and also the ecosystem. Remember, guys, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.